I've never told this story publicly before, mostly because I knew no one would believe me, but maybe someone out there needs to hear it. Maybe you've seen him too. They call him the Mirror Man, but what I saw was far worse than a name can describe. It started in the fall of 1998. I was a college student in Pennsylvania, living off campus in a cheap old house with two other roommates, Mark and Eddie. The place was creaky, cold, and always felt off, but it was affordable. That should have been the first red flag. It all began one night when Mark stumbled into the house, pale, shaking, and drenched in sweat. He didn't speak for hours, just sat in his room, staring at the wall. When I asked what happened, he finally muttered, "I saw something in the mirror." He wouldn't say more. That night, I heard him crying. Not just crying, sobbing. The kind of sobbing that only comes from seeing something your mind can't process. By morning, Mark was gone. He left a note. "Don't look in the mirror. He's real." At first, I thought he had a breakdown, but then Eddie started acting strange. He became paranoid, constantly covering mirrors, turning them around, avoiding his own reflection. One night, I caught him whispering to himself in the bathroom, "He doesn't show unless you alone, unless you're vulnerable." I thought he was losing it too, but I was wrong. One night, I saw him. I was brushing my teeth in the hallway mirror. It was late, everyone asleep. At first it was subtle, like a blur behind me. I turned. Nothing. I laughed at myself. But when I looked again, he was there. A tall, faceless figure in the reflection, wearing a long black coat, skin pale like ash, head slightly tilted. But here's the thing. He wasn't standing behind me. He was in the mirror, staring back at me. And when I turned around, the hallway was empty. But in the glass, he lifted his hand, slowly, deliberately, pointing at me. I ran. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I called my mom and told her I was coming home for a while. But when I came back 2 weeks later, Eddie was missing. Police found blood in his room, smeared across the mirror. They never found his body. I moved out the same day. But the nightmares didn't stop, because the Mirror Man doesn't just haunt a house. He follows you. Over the next few years, I tried to move on. I saw therapists, took meds, avoided mirrors. But something always felt like it was watching me, just out of view. And then came the dreams. I'd wake up in my bed, unable to move. In the dream, I'd be lying down, exactly where I'd fallen asleep, and I'd see him, standing at the corner of the room, head tilted, watching me. Sometimes, he'd speak. His voice wasn't heard through ears. It was like thoughts forced into my brain. You can't hide from your own reflection. One day, I got a message, a woman named Clara. She said she read a forum post I left years ago and wanted to talk. When we met, I saw the same trauma in her eyes. She told me her brother had vanished after describing a man in the mirror. She had drawings, all the same figure I'd seen, the long coat, the blank face, the black eyes. She told me a theory I'd never heard before. He's not a ghost, he's a fracture. A psychological wound that becomes real. He feeds on broken people, people in grief, trauma, depression. He infects the weak and watches them destroy themselves. And that's when it clicked. Mark had lost his father weeks before he saw the Mirror Man. Eddie was struggling with substance abuse. And me? I was in denial about my own childhood trauma, the thing I never dealt with. The Mirror Man found us. We were all perfect prey. Clara and I kept in touch. We tried rituals, mirror-covering techniques, prayer, even isolation. But it doesn't work, because you can't escape your own reflection. And one day, Clara stopped replying. I visited her house. The police were there. They told me she jumped in front of a train, but in her bathroom, I saw it, scratched into the steamed mirror. He lives in me now. So why am I telling you this? Because you might see him too. You might feel the coldness when you're alone, or see something shift in the corner of your eye when you pass by a mirror. If you do, don't ignore it. And whatever you do, don't talk to him, because once you acknowledge him, he never leaves.